Hi, fourth graders. All right, this lesson is 114, simplifying fraction answers. And you're going to use a lot of the knowledge that we've done in the past couple weeks on today's lesson. So normally when we have an answer to a math problem, it's in the simplest form. So when you are dealing with fractions, there's two possible things that you need to do. When you get an answer, it can either be that we write the improper fraction that you get as a mixed number or a whole number, which was a lesson that we did, taking improper fractions and turning them into mixed numbers or whole numbers. Or today, what we're going to do is we're going to have reduce when possible. Now, the last lesson we did was reducing. So now we're going to take our skills of what we know about fractions and we're going to apply them to equations. Now, I'm not going to use any erasable markers. I may make some mistakes. Bear with me. All right, for number one, we're going to have an addition problem. For number two is a subtraction problem with just regular fractions, no mixed numbers. So for example, number one, we're going to take 2/3 and add 2/3. 2/3 plus 2/3. Remember, when we're adding, we don't change our denominator. So 2 plus 2 is 4, and our denominator stays the same. Notice, though, that 4/3 is an improper fraction, so we take that extra step of changing 4/3 back into a mixed number. Now, remember when we talked about mixed numbers, we had our circles, and they were cut into thirds. In this situation, we have 4/3, so we need to show that we have 4/3 by 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that this is one whole number here, and then over here we have a fraction of 1/3. So our answer, to change 4/3 into the simplest form possible, it's going to turn it into a mixed number with 1 and 1/3. Okay? Now let's go to subtraction. Subtraction, we have 3/4 minus 1/4. Okay? So we're subtracting. We're going to get the difference of 3 minus 1 is 2. And then our denominator stays the same. Here you notice you have 2/4. You all should know that 2 is half of 4. So right then and there, that we know that this is half. Well, 1/2 is smaller or simpler than 2/4. But remember, you can also divide the top and the bottom by 2. So if I divide the top and the bottom by 2, 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So 1/2 would be your final answer. Some of you all might just know that automatically, that 2 is half of 4, so we could just write 1/2 instead, but it is also considered reducing. So remember that when we're reducing a fraction, we're making it into the simplest form, which is right here, simplifying fractions. Okay, now let's move on to example number 3. It says Nicholas exercised each day by walking. The route he walks each morning is 3 1/3 miles long, and the route he walks that evening is 4 2/3 miles long. Altogether, how many miles does Nicholas walk each day? Okay, so they gave us two different, they gave us two different miles. They gave us 3, I'm gonna write it right here. They gave us 3 1/3. And they gave us 4 2/3. They want to figure out all together how many does he walk. So I can do this in 2 steps. I can take my 4 plus my 3. My 4 plus my 3 gave me 7. Okay, so my first step was to do 3 plus 4, 4 plus 3, got me to 7. Then I'm going to take my fractions and add them together. 1/3 plus 2/3. Same thing here. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus, or we don't add the bottom actually. Remember, your denominator stays the same. So remember when we had the same number on top and as the same number on bottom, the numerator and the denominator are same, it actually means 1. So I actually have 7 plus 1. So 7 plus 1 gets you to 8. So he walked 8 miles. Awesome. Okay. It does get kind of messy, and I should have left a little bit more room, but I was trying to squeeze a lot of it onto one page. Okay, adding. Now we have 5 3/5, 5 3/5, and we're going to add 6 4/5. Okay, so here we're going to add our simple numbers, our whole numbers. 6 plus 5 gets you to 11. Okay. 11. And then we can go 4 plus 3 is 7. And then 5 stays the same. But you need to notice that 11 and 7/5. 7/5 is a improper fraction. So we need to change our improper fraction. And if you remember how we did our improper fraction as we divided, you take your bottom number divided by your top. Or you can draw your picture. So if I decide I'm going to take, okay, I have 11 as my whole number, but I need to figure out my improper fraction. I'm going to take my little circle, cut it into 5 parts. I need 2 of them, because I have to have 7 parts. So I'm going to color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So then again, I have 1 here, and I have 2/5 here. So I'm actually adding 11/5, or 11 and 7/5. No, okay. I have my 11. I'm adding my 1, and I'm adding my 2/5. 11 plus 1 is 12. And then add my 2/5 as my last fraction. So my whole number, my entire mixed number that was reduced when I added these two, instead of 11 and 7/5, I actually got 12 and 2/5, because you can't have a mixed number with an improper fraction. You have to reduce it. Okay, my son is getting in my way, but last one, example number 5. It says a piece of fabric 1 3/8 yard in length was cut from a bolt of fabric that measured 6 5/8 yard. So how long was the piece of fabric left on the bolt? Okay, so we're subtracting. We had 6 5/8, and we cut, so we subtracted 1 3/8. 1 3/8. Okay, so right away, we're going to do our problem. 6 minus 1 is 5. And then we can take 5 minus 3, which gets me to 2. My denominator stays the same. Okay, right now we have 5 and 2/8. It looks like it is ready to go in the simplest form. But notice that 2/8 can also be reduced. So we can reduce 2/8 by dividing. We're just dividing our fraction right here. It's not an improper fraction, but it can be smaller because 2 does go into 8. So we're going to divide the top number of our fraction and the bottom number of our fraction by 2 to reduce. And we're going to keep our whole number, so our whole number stays the same. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then 2 goes into 8 4 times. So we did reduce our fraction from 5 and 2/8 to 5 and 1/4. Now, I understand that was kind of a lot all in one lesson, and it is a lot of different steps. We're taking a couple different lessons that we've done and putting them all together. We're adding and subtracting fractions, we're adding and subtracting mixed numbers, and then we're also reducing and changing mixed numbers into, or we're changing improper fractions into mixed numbers or whole numbers. It's a lot. I get it. Fractions are hard, and it takes a long time and repetition to really, really master them. So I am going to offer that I have a Zoom available. I'm going to say, because this lesson was supposed to be done on Wednesday, I'm going to say that on Wednesday night at, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be on Zoom. If you want to come on and hop on, if you need questions, I will be there. I'll write it right here. I have a Zoom Wednesday at 7 p.m. for questions. Okay, on math. It could be on any math homework at all. If you ever need more help, and especially during the week, like during maybe Monday or Tuesday during the day, I'm at home every day. So if you really need any help, please message me and I will hop on Zoom and we can try and figure this out. Okay, so I believe that you guys can do it. I want you to give it a shot. Go ahead and do your lesson practice, A, B, C, D, and then there is, there is E and F on the back. So if you want, like I said, go ahead and add A, B, C, D, E, and F all on the back side page. Take a quick picture of it and post it on the link in activity under Seesaw, and then I will give you feedback. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck.